Are you ready to master the art of creating content that converts?
Hey, I'm Mia, a mum of two who went from being a burnt-out AMBO to six-figure content creator in less than a year, all while navigating a late ADHD diagnosis.
And I'm Kristen, also a mum of two and a former corporate branding queen turned entrepreneur. My dyslexic brain sees marketing very differently, and that's my superpower.
And together we're showing women like you how to master video marketing and create content that generates income.
Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, we are breaking down everything from landing brand deals to building your own empire.
Welcome to I Am That Content Creator podcast, where we turn scroll-stopping content into serious income.
No filters, no fluff.
Just real strategies from two neurodivergent mums who get it. So let's turn your phone into a video marketing machine.
And let's go!
Let's go!
Guys, be professional, guys.
I'm going good. Okay, there's our intro done.
Welcome to the I Am That Content Creator podcast. We're cutting through the noise to show you exactly how to create scroll-stopping content, then premium brand deals and build a thriving online business. No bullshit, just proven strategies that scale. Hey Mia, how are you and your black coffee right now?
Good. We're just talking about, do you like your coffee black or white?
Give me a nice black coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, fun fact for everybody. Not a fun fact. I'm going to ask you a question. What's your favorite coffee of the day? As in, like, what time of day are you like, yep, hit the head?
Oh,
yeah.
Straight up in the morning. Yeah. Or I'll wait till I drop the kids off to school and I'll go grab a little cheeky almond latte.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, I must admit, because mine is, because I get up before everybody, and that first coffee is like heaven.
Yeah.
I sit here in my computer room and it's all like dark, and because I don't turn the lights on or anything, and so I just sit here and I'm like, anyway. Just really, and then every coffee from then on isn't as good, but I still drink it. I'm in the mood, but it's not as good.
Well, my first coffee of the day is never alone because I like to sleep into the last minute possible. So,
yeah, nasty nut. Don't be like, even on a weekend, I'll get up at before because I'm like, I can't handle. I need at least half an hour alone to like recalibrate for life. Because if I wake up and even sometimes like my husband leaves for work early. And so he gets up at the same time. And even when we walk into the kitchen, even though the house is dark, like, don't touch me, don't look at me. We're not communicating, even though we do. We do give each other a hug and a kiss. It's fine. I'm not that much of a bitch. But I'm kind of like on the weekends, I'm like, oh, I'm all by myself. Anyway, welcome into our life, guys.
Yeah. Nah, coffee's good.
Today we want to have a conversation with you that I think is really important because we've been there. We know a lot of our community go there often. And it's around this guilt of potentially pivoting and this being multi-passionate, and what does that mean and how we can kind of harness that energy. Because I know for me personally, and I'll kind of share my story around that as we go through this episode, but I carried a lot of guilt around pivoting because I'm a manifesting generator. I'm actually built to do a lot of things, but until I learned that about my human design, I just felt like everything was a failure. And I know you too, Mia, with your ADHD and the way that you've kind of built businesses and stuff, there is this huge amount of guilt that sits on us when we pivot. And we've spoken to a few people recently in one-on-ones and things like that, that we can, they'll even say like, oh, I pivoted. Oh, I feel pretty bad. I'm like, no, if it's the right decision, it's the right decision.
Yeah. And I would say I almost found it kind of embarrassing that, another thing went to shit, so I'm doing something else. Oh, what's Mia doing now? What business is she creating now? Because I kept pivoting. And I'm sure that had a lot to do with my ADHD and kind of the dopamine wears off and you're finding it really hard. So you're like, okay, well, it's this business model, so I'm going to pivot, or the type of content that you're creating doesn't feel right and you've just got this you're drawn to a certain type of content or about a certain topic. So yeah, when you get to know more about who you are as a person and how you work, you'll get to understand that pivoting is something that perhaps is just inevitable with you until you finally find that thing that you land on that is just the right one. And you won't know that until you try lots of different things.
Yeah, and I think, that's what I suppose we wanted to talk about, because inside our community we have just the most incredible entrepreneurs and women in business that are a little neurospicy, where most of us are 40 plus, some are still in their 30s thriving. Congratulations, well done. We're mums, we're busy. But what's really nice is to be able to have these conversations with our community and with you right now on the podcast, because what Mia and I have been able to do and what we're really excited about with the community is we're able to teach you how to create more money through your content so that you can actually have those pivots. You can test the water. Like if you're just building a digital course, and like I've been there before, where you're just building that digital course and you're just creating that piece of content, you're just trying to build your tribe, build your community, and you're just going down that lane in that kind of tunnel vision. And it can be A, very lonely, and B, when the sales aren't coming in and your social media isn't exploding, so therefore, the sales aren't coming in, you're not feeling validated, you're not getting the response from your community, you're in the 200 views jail. Like that's lonely and hard to continue to push up a hill. So as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, as someone a little neurospicy, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, okay, like the dopamine's not hitting. Oh, maybe this isn't for me. Oh, maybe I'll go over there and I'll try that. And so then you do pivot. Now that pivot might not be the right point because you're just at that breaking point where you're about to kind of go over the hill, where with what we've brought into our community, what we're teaching you as an entrepreneur is around landing a brand deal, doing what's called UGC and getting paid for that content, making more money with your content so that you can actually continue to push that boulder up a hill. Like if I'd have done, and I used to do brand deals and things like that, but I don't think I put it in the same bucket as I do now from working with Mia and now working in our community and being able to articulate the importance of this. I just kept pushing that thing up a hill and wondering why isn't it working and getting a little bit here and a little bit there and going further and further and knowing I was so close to getting there. But as soon as I nearly got there, I went, oh, maybe it's just not going to work. The money's not there. I'm just going to go over here because I'm really passionate about that now too. And so in my head, some of me goes, bit of a failure. Now I go, no. That was all a beautiful lesson that got you here. But what we want to say to you is if you're feeling like that and you're resonating with that and you can you're hearing us and going, that feels like me. First of all, totally fine, very normal. Mm-hmm. It's not a problem. That's why we've got you. Because I think what is really cool is being able to show you how to create content that can land you a brand deal, that you can collaborate with a brand and get paid for it, because then that's going to keep fueling you financially. It's going to give you more confidence, more clarity with your content because you're learning a skill set to create better content, get paid for that content. And then you actually had to take this little cheeky breather and be like, oh, okay, I'm getting paid now. This is cool. Like my husband's not on my back anymore because there's money coming in. And now I'm actually able to go and work on that thing that it really fucking fuels me that I want to do. So I suppose that's what we want to talk to you about is how that's possible for you. And if you're feeling that pull, what you can do about it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're having those feelings where you feel like you want to pivot, having the insights to know whether or not you're pivoting because the money's not there and you've got shiny object syndrome, or is it that it is just really not in alignment with who you are? So figuring out if that pivot is based on fear and scarcity and I want things now, or if it's, I'm just not meant to talk about this, it's not aligning with me. That can be hard to make that distinction. But when you're doing, what we teach, creating content for brands, partnering with brands, getting that money in, you've got that breathing space, like you said, to just take it easy, maybe test some other content, because when you pivot, you're starting from square one again. So you've got that breathing space. You're getting better at your content anyway. But navigating that pivot journey that all of us go on, I'm sure. I don't think there would be one entrepreneur that is still in the same business that they started from the start. Understanding that that journey is normal, but also balancing it out with, if I keep pivoting too many times, I'm not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, is because inside the community itself, we offer the ability to show you how to make money with your content through brand deals and so forth, but then also can be moving into creating a digital product, building your email list and nurturing that side of your creativity, that side of your business, building a course and understanding what that looks like whilst kind of getting paid. Because I think that's the thing is we've done a podcast recently, and I link it in the show notes if I remember, around kind of that focus. So one offer, one way, just keep doing that, which as an entrepreneur can be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem. Like, I think identifying that is key, and knowing like it's not that part is boring. It's because your brain is multi-passionate and it knows it can do so much. So what we do inside the community is help you understand that if that part is ticking off, but you can create that one offer that speaks to that person, that lights you up, that gets you excited about that, keep going down that path. And then when you kind of go, I'm feeling a bit bored, maybe it's pivot time, maybe I just think, cool, land a brand deal, do some UGC, do something that's outside that scope or whatever that is, to kind of maybe realign, reshuffle how you feel. Because sometimes that's all it is. It's like this little itch that you're like, oh, maybe this isn't right. Where 9 times out of 10, you're at that point that's ready to go over, but you pivot a little too soon if it's something that lights you up and if it's something that you love to do. So I suppose the key thing with understanding if you're getting that itch is if it, like, for you, Mia, I'll ask this question because it might help us explain it. Like, when did you know it was time to give up on a potential business idea and pivot? Like, was it, I'm just trying to get to that feeling that isn't like, oh, I'm bored, I'll just go over here. But it's more like, no, this isn't right for me.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I think it was more of a, well, this isn't working. No one wants this. I'm not getting any traction. So then I would jump to the next one where if I had have given it my all and kept with it for a long period of time, it might have worked out. So for me, early on, it was, that it's not working. It's the business model and I'm going to try something else, or it's the product. With a bit of a mix of, I've built that website now and it's not working and I'm over it. And it was like that for a long time. And when I found UGC and I started to do that and was bringing in good money with that, I pivoted from full-time UGC to affiliate marketing. And I think that was just like a natural progression, a natural pivot. But when I've pivoted again, I've always had the UGC to fall back on while I figure it out, while I build the new audience, while I do what I got to do. So, I think it, for me, a mix of natural progression mixed with early on, it was just, I just gave up too early.
But even with that, like, that to me isn't even like your pivot from UGC to affiliate marketing to where we are now, they're not big swings. Like, they're natural progression pivots, because in there you're creating the content, you're understanding how to do that better, you're sharing your knowledge, you're sharing your journey, you're building as a content creator. So they're natural kind of progressions. And where that first pivot from the online businesses and stuff that you were setting up to maybe UGC and leaving, being an AMBO and stuff like that, those to me were kind of those bigger pivots that were like, doesn't feel right, not aligning, gonna try this. And then you started on that path. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, back then when I first started, I didn't know how my brain worked. I didn't understand that I was multi-passionate and ADHD and all the things. So if I had that insight back then, I would have been more aware of, okay, you pivoting because you're bored or because it's not working or because you've got shiny object syndrome? Or should you stick it out if it aligns with you? If all of a sudden you feel like maybe the product you're affiliated with doesn't fit with you anymore, or a particular product or business model, there's no point in growing that business if it's not there in your heart and you don't enjoy it, because what's the point?
No.
You may as well go to work.
Creating content for something you don't love is so fucking hard.
There's no point. If you got that gut feeling that, I'm just not enjoying this, then it's going to be hard to run your business and hard to create content. So knowing, I think I could almost guarantee that everyone would have a gut feeling whether or not what they're doing is aligned with them or not. It would make it difficult if what you're doing now doesn't feel aligned but is generating you income. That's another bit of a sticky situation, but go with your gut. And if you've got a backup like UGC, you've got that.
And I think, for me and my journey in terms of kind of putting the same hat on this whole pivot conversation, to give people another example. So one of the pivots that's really clear to me, because at the time I was in a coaching container, and it was a few conversations that we had that all of a sudden these women were like, "No, she's finally seen the things that we've all seen." I was like, "No, stop it." But so as you guys, well, you may not know, but I also have a bespoke wedding venue that, like I've said, I'm a manifesting generator. So I am built to do a lot of things differently, quickly and powerfully. Like, that's just how I am. I'm so glad I know that now, because for so long to me, that was my failure, is I just kept trying that. But I could also be doing that at the same time. And the confusion of the people around me were like, what is she doing? How do you do everything? And so for me, with the wedding business, what I loved about it is we've got the venue. So my role is to be the coordinator. So I coordinate absolutely everything. And then what I could see is we'd get a lot of couples that would come and they'd be like, wow, this is there's a lot to do and it's very overwhelming. And that's kind of the first thing they'd say is, I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Like, what am I going to do? And so from that, I was learning from my audience. I was like, okay, there's a place for me. I know me when I got married, same thing. I mean, Google's very different then. There wasn't a lot of this stuff. So to Google this stuff, to find the right venue, to understand how you do your own do-it-yourself venue, blah, blah, blah. So there wasn't a lot of that information. So I was like, okay, I've got something here. And I started the Secret Brides Club, which continued on for a while. And I started a podcast about it. I thought what I could do is create a course that when you get married, you could come into that and you could learn every step of the way. And when I did that, I invested in Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy. And I was convinced that this was my golden ticket. Like, I went all in. You should see the work I did. Like, it was amazing. And I loved it. I created the course outline. I did most of the course. I did webinars, like you name it. Old mate did it, right? She was all in. And at that time, I'd invested in Amy Porterfield's course, which was great. I learned a lot. It was very, for me, very American in terms of, it was really good, but I was like, I just can't see myself in it. And then that's how I met Yvette Mayo, because she did kind of a more condensed version that was more aligned with me. And I was like, oh, now I can understand how it's going to work. So anyway, got into her 12-week coaching container and started working with her and a group of women. And they all believed in what I was doing and they were all incredible. And I kept kind of being the multi-passionate many generator, kept going back to, but I also I do confidence, personal branding work with I want to do that too, because I just love inspiring women and I love talking about personal style and personal branding and owning your space. And they were like, And I was like, maybe I could do that with the brides, because what happens is when women get married, then they've got no project after. And so a lot of them are like, oh, I feel so lost. And I was like, maybe I could help them there. And anyway, it kind of came to this point where I nearly built this damn course. And I didn't back it before I built it, which is what we teach inside our community, which is another thing that we've learned along our process. I did do all the steps to create it and it was, incredible. I still look at it now and smile because I'm really proud of that, even though it didn't come to fruition. And I was talking to them and I just had this moment one day with them and I think one of them asked me something like, I think I created they were talking about how to do something in Canva or something like that. And I was like, I've created a mini course on that. And one of the women was like, what? And I was like, I've got a course on that if you want it. And she was like, Kristen, what? It was one of those moments where I was like, I love helping women do that. And it just kind of, it all again, verbally diarrheaed out of me what I love to do the most. And they're all just like,
why don't you do that?
She's arrived, everyone. She's arrived. And the thing about that if you don't know my full story, when I left, was made redundant, that's where I started my business, was around building up women around their personal brand, owning their space, and being really comfortable and confident, and giving those women that like, I can't do this, the power to be like, yeah, you fucking can. You've got this. Like, let's just figure it out. And so I'd come full circle to that. So every time I'd pivoted on not far from what I wanted to do. It was always around helping women. It was always around, propping up the little guy. It was always around solving people's problems, my deep, deep why, simplifying things.
Mm.
But it wasn't until kind of that moment that it was nice to be surrounded by women, which is I know what we do in our community, that we're like, oh, she finally got there. She needed to do it on her own. Finally got there.
Yeah. And you do. You need to go through all of that to get to where you're going to be. Yeah. It's just.
And I think that's the part that is so important, is to know that nothing I did, and I know from the conversations we've had, Mia, you're the same, nothing I did, no money that I invested was wasted. Not a single fucking cent.
No.
Because I look at that journey and go, holy crap, I have learned some stuff.
Yeah, a lot, and over a long period of time too. But it also goes to show that doing that deep why work is really going to help you understand, okay, is this what I really want? Is this the business that is meant for me? And I now that I look back on my journey too, and I only started doing my deep why work when I met you, that I was flourishing in this space because it was meant for me, whereas all the other businesses were just product-based, e-commerce, that sort of stuff, and there was no attachment to or no connection with my deep why. And I only figured out my deep why because of the pivots that I made.
Yeah.
So I would have never
and I think,
that out.
That's one of the most powerful parts of our community, is that deep why work. And, we were only speaking to somebody recently that she didn't know the deep why. And when we were talking to her, we could both see that the second she uncovers that, holy shit, will her world open up. Like, I just know that when you speak to somebody, and those that don't know the deep why, we might do another podcast on it soon. We've got one in our repertoire as well that we did first up, but it's something that is so important to revisit, because when you do tap into that, it is pure fucking gold. And I guarantee you it will be the thing that allows, it kind of anchors you. It allows you to go, I'm pivoting, but hang on a minute, does this align with my, yes, it does. All right. Okay, here we go. Like, that's why I think doing that, like you've said, is so important. And if it breaks you open, and the amount of women that have done it in the community that have bawled their eyes out, and some people still don't know, and it's not something that you're going to do, the 20-minute lesson, and be like, nailed it, okay, move on. You need to dig deep.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's a lot, but when you do it and you do it right, like, that's the part that I think will help you. If you feel like you're somebody that pivots a lot, do that work, because it's incredible.
Yeah, it'll uncover things that you didn't even realize.
And so that we can make sure there's actions here for you. You've heard our stories. You've heard that, 9 times out of 10, it's that gut feeling. You're going to know when your gut feeling is saying to you, I know this is something, I just can't figure it out yet, then Mia and I would urge you to slow down. And if that means taking on some UGC, doing some brand deals, getting your mind out of the tunnel. And, for me, I talk about this in the free masterclass that we do, like, it's dropping that ego. And I can say now quite happily, I had a hell of an ego that was around, no, Kristen, you're a brand and marketing guru. Like, you should know this shit. You just stay in this fucking tunnel and you just keep pushing. Where I think what's been incredible about meeting Mia and creating this business that we've got is all of a sudden our expertise have come together, where we now actually can get you more money, get you better content whilst you're pushing through that tunnel. And for me, I'm not proud to say I've got an ego, but I'm happy to say, like, it fucking slowed me down, and it got in my way. And if you're a small business owner that's been doing this for so long, your ego may be stopping you from generating the money that you could, because this hasn't been brought into your world. The idea of landing brand deals and doing UGC and getting paid by a brand for your content may feel, I don't want to say below you, but I'm just speaking from myself here, and I'm speaking honestly because that's what I do, and I do it because I hope that it helps anybody that may be thinking how I was thinking, that it wasn't below me, but it was like, no, you're the one that should be doing this. Like you should be doing that. You should be, amazing. And whatever that story was in my mind, I'm so grateful now to see the women in our community that have small businesses let down their guard and thrive. And to watch your journey and what you've done in this, I'm like, this just makes so much sense. And it's so powerful. And I think that's what I want for our community and for you listening, to know that there is a way for you to do this. This is really fucking fun.
Really fun. Yeah. And it funds you online, because there would be nothing worse than making a pivot and going back to zero and then finding, oh shit, I've got to get a job now. This sucks.
Yeah.
So So, I mean, just know that if you have pivoted lots of different times and you're feeling shit about it, it's normal. It's really, really normal. And it takes a few pivots for you to even figure out what you want to do and what you want to create content about. And you'll know it when you're creating content about something that doesn't align with you. You'll feel it. And when you find the thing that is aligned with you and you love, the content just rolls out. You don't even have to think twice about it. It just comes out of your mouth and it feels good to create content. So we want you to get that feeling. And if that means pivoting, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. We've all done it a million times, and we never get to where we want to be without going through all of that.
So hopefully that has cleared things up, inspired you, given you some kind of hope that it's very normal. That's kind of what we wanted to do today, is to make it feel, just normalize that feeling. And are we going to do our new little segment, Mia?
We are. Have we got one?
All right. So we're going to go again with Would You Rather. Now, this is like a controversial one in terms of, I suppose, like what Mia and I enjoy, and you may as well. But Mia, would you rather never be able to have coffee again, ever in your life, or never be able to have alcohol, a glass of wine, a little gin and tonic, a little beer, a little knockoff drink ever again? What would it be?
Yeah, it's
hard.
a tricky one. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, they'd be like, either just the alcohol, like you'll be fine. But I live on a vineyard, so I'm going to support the wine industry.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't.
My mum industry.
I was going to say, I don't mind a cup of tea, so I can always go for the tea. As much as I love coffee, I could never imagine not having a little drinky poo for the rest of my life.
I know, and like immediately for me, I think about, even though I don't mind a cheeky wine here or there, but like going down the river, like we go down the river as a family and just sitting around the riverbank at that 5 o'clock drinks, and everyone's like, "Who wants a beer? Who wants a this?" And you just kind of like relaxo mode, like life's good. I think I'd have to go coffee, and I hate myself for saying that.
There are a couple of booze heads, but no, but like, could you imagine like even going to a wedding or a 40th or something and just not.
And look, there are people, and I celebrate you that you can, and I love that, and I probably should do more of it. But just those little moments of life that I'm like, like for me, the river really sticks out because I love the river. It's like my just happy place. I'm like, just to sit around and just have drink, summer's day. Nah, I'm going to go coffee and just try and find tea that's so strong I can't live without it.
So caffeinated. Caffeine doesn't even do anything to me, so I'm not worried about that part, but it's the taste and the habit and the True. But look,
We're doing the hard-hitting questions. It's how we roll, guys. Anyway, that is us for this week. Remember, if you have got a have you ever for us, do let us know. And always drop into our DMs whenever you can at Hive Hub Collective. And one thing that we must say, which we never remember to say on the podcast, if you can hit the little cheeky subscription button, it's the little plus on the top. It helps us so much. It helps us get to more people to listen, more people to share our story with, help more of this community. So that would be absolutely amazing. That's it.
That's it.
Shit podcast. There's so many good ones too.